We're talking school education in Africa on the continent, specifically here in Tanzania. I'm doing something. I'm trying to go live on Instagram at the same time. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, guys. Come on in. Welcome to the live. Let's see. Struggle stream. Come on in. Greet me. Let me know where you're joining from. I want to see where you're joining from. I haven't been live in a minute. I have not been live in a minute. So let's see if this works out. I don't know. Question King, click go live on stream. I don't know, guys, if this is gonna work out, but we gonna make it do what it can. Welcome, Brendan from South Africa. Sunny Bonani, Unjani. Welcome. Welcome. Y'all know how to do this live. It says it's live. Let's see. It says I'm live. Um, let's see if it will do it again. We're gonna try. Save changes. Go live. I always get confused with Instagram and StreamYard. Oh, it looks like it's doing it. It's doing it. All right, we're live, guys. Welcome to the live stream. Brendan joining us from South Africa. Let me know where else you're joining from. Um, that's what's up. Kimberly, hello, welcome. So I definitely have to do some shout outs in the beginning to people that have supported my baby girl on her international journey of education here in Tanzania. And we're going to talk all about education in Africa, pros and cons. I've educated my girls in South Africa as well as Tanzania. And I'm going to talk about the differences between the two, the benefits, the cons, and all of that, and answer your questions. So I want to give some shout outs to some of the community folks that have supported um, the baby girl and going to school. I definitely want to shout out Colin, a longtime member of the community. We've got um, let's see, I got a couple people who sent me some money. All right, Colin sent me some money. Shout out to Colin. Shout out to Driscoll Edwards for sending some love our way. Um, Shout out to who's this? Tiffany Scott. Thank you, Tiffany, so much. Zhaeniya really appreciates it. So Zhaeniya is already in school. She started on Monday. I've seen her twice because I'm still buying things and sorting her out and getting her sorted. But she's already in school, but she wanted me to tell everyone thank you for your support and your contributions. I've still got a few more days. So, as I mentioned, this stream, we are supporting her buying fabric, buying hair products, and art supplies. So, Zhaeniya is a creative. She loves design, sewing, as well as painting. So these things cost money. School fees cost money. I got her together with school fees, and so she's super taken care of. Tuition, boarding, all of that is taken care of. But we're raising some money for the extra things that she can do to just love on herself, love on her creativity, and then even make some extra money because she's gonna be in boarding school. She may want to do some hair, she may want to make some clothes for people, some things. So I definitely want to I want to be able to support her with that. And because we're here in Tanzania, they import all of the hair products. So they're like 3 times as much as they would cost in the US, and probably about 2 to 3 amounts more than they would cost in South Africa. Right. So, hi, Mambo Makaya. Did I say it right? Mambo Dada. Kimberly, how much are hair products? I mean, so, we have a lot of hair. We do natural hair, shave, moisture, the products we use. And so they're a bit expensive here. You're going to get probably like a deep conditioner for like 25, $30 because they're imported. So just whatever is on your heart, whatever is on your spirit. I'm going to um, let's put the Zelle here. I've got Cash App. I'll put the Cash App as well. It's not really working so well for me when I'm in South Africa. Um, but I'll put that anyway. Let's see. And I know a lot of you have questions, right? A lot of you have questions. You put your baby in boarding school in another country. What's that about? Listen, we're going to answer those questions because I really want to support other parents that have an interest in doing something similar, or just really want to know like how to do it, right? Because it's something that Zhaeniya wanted to do. It's something that I also wanted for her, but um, I was definitely a little nervous. We've been working on this for 2 to 3 years now, and we're finally here. So I just can't believe it's happening. I think I've tried to avoid it myself as long as possible, but we've done it and we're here. And so I'm answering your question. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Ashley. On this channel, we talk about my journey of living, moving, and doing business on the continent. I'm whispering because I'm in my home away from home here in Dar es Salaam, and my family's watching a movie on the other side, and the lighting is the best in here, the air as well, and the couch is comfy. So we're in here, and I'm also trying to be respectful of their space. And then you'll also hear Penelope in the background um, as well. So, yes, Kimberly, thank you so much. We're supporting the stream. As I mentioned, Zhaeniya is in boarding school. She started on Monday, and tuition and board is paid, but there are some extra things that are outside of her school fees that I really want to make sure I can support her with and send her money for. So she is in love with fashion design, sewing, um, and taking care of herself, right? So hair supplies, fabrics, and art supplies are the things that we're raising for her on the stream. So support the stream as I answer any of your questions around education. And I'm also going to share with you guys the content on the Investor Summit that we're doing here in Zanzibar in October. And you can also ask questions about that as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me head on over to Instagram and see where everyone is. Karibu Kwame from Georgia. Wonder where you are in Georgia. Karibu Miss Makaya Dada Makaya living in Maryland. Kimberly Karibu from the west coast of the US, and Karibu Brendan from South Africa. And let me see, let me hop on over to Instagram and see how we're doing over there. Welcome, everyone. Charlotte, North Carolina in the house, Toronto, Louisiana, Karibu. Um, Oh, hi, big bro Will. I'll send you. So I've got it. Yeah, Cash App does not work in South Africa. Okay. So PayPal, Zelle, or I can even send you the bank stuff for South Africa. Brother Will, I appreciate you so much. You're so amazing. Um, I should drop that stuff over here, but it's over on YouTube. You can see the ticker below. So you see that I'm streaming on StreamYard. So the content is crossing platforms. But yes, if you have a desire to contribute to the stream, The information is on the ticker below. All right, so let's hop into this. As I mentioned, Zhaeniya, oh, my sis, Shelly, shout out to Shelly, sending over some money for Z, for Zhaeniya. I appreciate you so much. Um, Oh, I love you guys. You guys know I don't really do donations, but Zanaya was like, Mom, listen, we need some. I need my products. I need my this. So I really appreciate y'all. I also want to shout out B. Solomon for contributing for Zanaya's international education here in Tanzania and Dar es Salaam. Y'all rock. All right. So, um, as I mentioned, 3 years ago, we decided to do boarding school, and there was a long journey ahead of us. We researched this and understanding what that looks like here in Tanzania is a bit different. So I was shocked to know, you guys would not believe, or maybe you would, that people board their children as young as 5 years old here in East Africa. And this is for many reasons. I think you have a lot of parents that work internationally. Um, People are living in many regions very far away, and transportation isn't something that is easily accessible from villages to the bigger cities or the bigger schools for education. So that opportunity to be able to go to school, one, is a huge privilege, but then also to be able to get to school every day. So boarding school is definitely something that a lot of people would do and would tap into. As an American, we often hear boarding school and we think, oh, that's where people send their children that they don't love, they don't care about. And I also had to work through some of those thought processes because that's something that is ingrained in us in the US, and it's quite ignorant. If I can say. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for all parents, all families, but boarding school education in itself is a privilege. It's something, it's an honor. And I think in many societies, specifically in the US, we just stopped valuing education in the way that it has been introduced to us. Our ancestors sacrificed so much to be able to be educated. And nowadays, you just see children doing the most at these schools. You see just chaos at the schools. And education in the eastern part of the world is still very much valued. It's still very much honorable, and it is a privilege as well. So, um, I knew that I would put, the girls in school after COVID. Everybody was doing homeschool. I did my fondest attempts several times, but being a mom and someone who's solo parenting, I had to make the decision to re-enroll them in school because I value education, but I value multiple sides of education. And what I teach my girls around entrepreneurship, compassion, integrity, life skills, cooking, cleaning, um, those are things they learn at home, but then at school, they learn the things that they want them to learn. And also, being in another country, it was really important for them to learn the culture as well as the language. So, in 2020, we started out doing school here in Dar es Salaam. I only knew of international education. So I saw a billboard and they said international schools. I emailed three of them. One of them responded to my email. We went to that school. I liked the administration. The process was pretty easy as an international citizen. We were able to get them enrolled in school. It was quite simple, very easy. After they were enrolled, I submitted their paperwork to get their student passes, and easy peasy, 1 2 3. It's a bit different in South Africa, but we can talk a little bit more about that later. But Tanzania was really easy to get the girls enrolled in back in 2020. Fast forward to now, we've been interviewing and touring. At this point, we've toured a total of 4 boarding schools, and that's not a lot, but we've also gotten and received scholarship offers from other boarding schools in the US, and Zhaeniya chose Tanzania. So she had offers, she had opportunities in South Africa, but she chose Tanzania. And so during our what has been essentially a bi-coastal living, right? At first it was a long holiday, work and play, work and business, but during this opportunity, Zanaya asked if she could do some tours while we were here, and we did. And she chose a intermediate school, which is essentially not an international school, not a government school, but kind of right in between. So, a private school that offers boarding. It is attended by students from all over the world, a huge population from the Eastern African community of Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and one more, Burundi, right? So I think there are also some Sudanese students there. So it's a very international school, right? Just mostly of continental Africans. And I think there are some UAE students from the UAE, from Bahrain, several, right? So it is essentially a school that it's an African school, and there are for sure some pros and cons. So let me know where your questions are, what questions you have. If you want to support the stream, all of the information is in the ticker below. If you want to see it easily and you want to drop some support on YouTube, you can head over to YouTube, join us over there, or I guess I can just drop it here. But you'll have to pop off anyway. So search PayPal, Ashley in Africa, Zelle, all of that stuff is in the description below. So you can actually, or in the ticker below, you can go ahead and screenshot and head over there. So you guys are really quiet tonight. I know it's a Friday night. I hardly ever go live. Listen, guys, I'm adjusting. I'm trying to cope. This is a journey. This is a process for me. My oldest daughter is gone out the house already at 13. And I'm struggling. I'm struggling to cope. If you've ever done boarding school, you have some feedback or some words of wisdom, please share those in the chat. Also, in the replay, if you're a parent who has boarded your children and you've got some help for me, please let me know. I'm in a home with several people that have done boarding, um, parents who have boarded their children. So I'm surrounded by love, community, compassion, and all the like. But you can't never get more positive feedback. You can always have more positive feedback. All right, so let me go ahead. I want to drop this video so you guys can learn a little more. Let's see. Let's take a commercial break. So, commercial break. So, as you all know, yeah, we're doing business here in Tanzania and in South Africa. So, it just makes sense for my baby girl decided that she wanted to do school here, for her to do that. And we're back in October. She'll be home in December. Um, I actually got a call from one of my clients in South Africa. So we're doing a lot of things. I value Tanzania. I see the value, the promise of Tanzania, the Tanzanian people, the government. I mean, we're heavily invested. And what is a bigger investment than saying, you know, my children will school here, right? That is a huge investment because our children are our greatest technology. So when deciding to school your children, I think it's really important to understand three things. Number one, there is going to be a huge adjustment. As I mentioned in the beginning, I think Americans have gotten away from the value of education, of learning things that equip us to have a world view. Americans, we have adapted to our imperialism in a way that's quite dangerous. And so coming out of that system into a international system where you're learning about other countries and other cultures can be quite a shock. And so for our children, they're going to adapt way quicker than we will. But as adults, because we've been in that system for so long and we only know that system, it can be a bit of a shock for us. So we need to be aware of the culture shock that does exist in education. And part 1B, not only is there a culture shock, but there is a like performance difference. Education, I've found specifically here in Tanzania as well as South Africa, has a rigor to it that is extremely strong compared to that of US, even charter programs, even private programs. Multiple languages are customary. So children start speaking another language. They start learning the English language in preschool, right? Where you're not learning another language, a foreign language in the US until high school, oftentimes, right? So the children learn multiple languages as young as primary school. 5, 6, 7 years old, they're learning multiple languages. And they, while they already probably speak their native tongue and then Kiswahili, which is here in Tanzania or in South Africa, their native tongue, you know, Tswana, isiZulu, Ixhosa, uh, Tswana, or did I say all of them? And then English, right? And English, and then another one, right? So multiple languages is the norm. So the rigor, the excellence that is required in the education systems here is another huge adjustment. The second thing, everyone pays for school. So if you're thinking about public school, which I don't know why anyone would be from the US specifically, it's just not custom. Everyone pays for school, even if it's, $5 a month, 100 Rand a month. There are school fees to be paid. And that requires a level of investment from the family, as well as the child, as well as the education system, right? So there is no such thing as free education. There is a requirement, whether that's uniforms, whether that's books, whether that's fees. That investment is required because you know what they say, you value what you pay for, you pay attention to what you pay for. So the concept of free education is not really a thing. And so being aware of that, um, and being used to that is something that I would also, offer as advice. And then, the third thing, you just don't get bumped up just because your age. If you don't pass your exams, if your exams don't reflect the requirements of the government standard or the educational standard, you are not progressed to the next level. So this is relevant because for Zhaeniya, coming from South Africa the last year, going into a school system that is even more rigorous than the international Cambridge system, she tested to get in and they were like, yeah, we need her to do more. And she's totally comfortable with that because she's been open to the challenge. She's open to the challenge. She wants to push herself and she wants to be in a position to be able to, compete with her peers. Of course, there's some anxiety there, there's some self doubt there, but these are all skills and tools. And I'm really excited for her to learn at 13 in environments where she doesn't have to worry about some of the ridiculous things that kids are having to deal with in Western schools currently, right? So these are just a few things. I have a couple more that we'll decode along the way. How y'all doing? Y'all are super quiet. I don't see much chat going. Let me know if you have some questions about education in Africa, what it's like, what are some of the requirements? Is it for you and your family? Um, let me know. Let me know. This is a conversation. I would love to have you come in and join the chat if you would like. Um, yeah, we're taking it light. Usually I'm coming at y'all. It's a lot going on over there in the United States of the Americas. And I'm not here to come down y'all throat today because I'm going through my own stuff. Okay. My baby is gone. My other baby is missing her big sister. And I'm down the road, I'm down the street, but I'm staying around. I'm sticking around to be able to go and grab her some hair products, go and grab her some fabrics and some art supplies. We went and did a run today for just like some toiletries. She's a very fancy girl. I don't know where she gets it from, but she's a very fancy girl and she has her things that she likes. And I want to make sure she's as comfortable as she can possibly be with the discomfort of being away from home for the next 3 months, right? Doesn't sound like that long, but it's going to be a long time. It's a long time for me. Um, So what else? You guys are super quiet. Any questions? You have any questions about what this looks like? Do you have children? Are you interested in schooling abroad? They're not talking about sexuality in the schools, gender. They're talking about education, history, civics, economics, economic development, geopolitics, chemistry, physics. They're not talking and erasing history. They're talking about cultural history. These are things that the kids are learning this side. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing these things that side. But everybody has their reasons, and family is family. Sorry. Whatever is good for you is what is best for you and your family. And I hope you all are feeling okay about that. I want to know as well, like, how are you guys feeling about the education system in your country, right? Are you feeling like it's going in the upward trajectory? Are you feeling like it's going in the right direction? I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. RJ Jackson asks, what is the best first steps after getting a passport? We'll talk a little bit more about that, RJ. I would just say head over to my YouTube channel, Ashley in Africa. I have so much content on those things. But the first step would be to book your discovery trip. So if you got your passport, book a trip somewhere and go. Go now. Expediently. Get on out of there. Um, get on out of there if you know what's good for you. All right. Um, Badman P or Badman, when does school start for children? So school starts in different times of the year. Currently, this school year is so international schools start from August. They just started school this week to May. No, March or April, March. So August to March. But then the other schools start from January to December. So a full year, right? With breaks in between 1 week break, some 2 week breaks, some 1 month breaks. At South Africa, the girls had 3 terms and 3 months breaks each term. So that was a lot. Thank you, Deborah, so much. Ahmed asks, how was the transition? How has it been? And how have your daughters coped with forging new friendships? Great question. Um, the transition has been good. I mean, it's been a transition for sure, but I'd say the girls are happy. They have made so many new friends. They enjoy making new friends. I think my daughter had the option to go to the school that she went to before when we lived here in Tanzania, and she chose to go to another school because she said she wanted to make new friends. You know, she was really open to that, and I think she's at a place where she values that. Now, it doesn't mean it's not hard because I will say that it is. I mean, she's 13, and so those type of things, that process can be a bit stressful, but I think that's life, right? And these are life skills as we become a community of people that are connected more than we've ever been, but also experiencing challenges in communications and relationships more than we've ever experienced. The ability to make friends and to forge relationships, even in conflict or struggle, is a huge, huge, huge gift that I didn't even realize I was giving her. So I think she's coping. I know she's going to do amazing, and it's going to be rocky in the beginning, of course, just because she's at a new school. She's 13, and teenagers are, in their own worlds at this point, but I'm really excited. She does have a friend that she's known for years. That's like a close family friend that goes to the school as well. So they're super, super tight. They're best friends. And so already I know that he's got her back, and she's got support at the school. So she's not going in completely blind. Really good question. Will you feel like child when she's 17 will have better mental capacity, and do you expect her to have a tech job on the continent? Great question. I do think she will have a stronger mental capacity than many of the children that are being raised currently with technology and kind of the anxiety of the West, and not really being able to be outside, right? Like, and be children. She can actually be a child and not be fixated. So, this school, they do not allow personal devices. There are certain websites in this country that cannot be accessed within this country, right? So there are certain websites that the kids don't even get to see. And this is a positive, in my opinion, because we are experiencing the highest rates of mental illness in the US currently, just based off of many things, but social media, gun violence, loneliness, parents like not being at home, having to work multiple jobs, having to have side hustles, right? So there's a huge thing happening. And I value the fact that she doesn't have to have those experiences. So I do believe she will have a better mental capacity, and her critical thinking will be very sharp after this experience. Um, and I expect her to do whatever she'd like to do. I encourage creativity and whatever that looks like, because creativity is the only thing that will keep us economically independent. So a job is not something that I will focus on. However, I do think a job is a great place to learn as well as get your first initial strategic partner. But my goal is for her to be in entrepreneurship, to be creating, to fuel her creativity into a business where she serves and helps others. Um, but yeah, that's my hope, and that's my expectation. Thank you for those questions. Thank you for those questions, and thank you for clearing up that question. I appreciate it. Let me head over to Instagram. Do you guys have any questions over here? De Gold says, you sign your son up to a private school in the Gambia. It would be great to receive your pack to take the next steps. Um, you're based in the UK and the education is pants. I guess that's like UK term for not so great. Um, sure. Well, I don't know. What are you asking? Oh, great to receive your pack to take the next steps. Let me know what you mean, Deja Gold, for. Clarify your question. Is there something that you're looking to get back from me, like feedback? Is there a product that you're addressing? Let me know. I'm not sure this person. trying to troll, I will block you. You guys will get blocked. Okay, block party. And I don't even talk about it. You'll just be like, oh, where'd she go? Where'd she go? What happened? What happened? Where we at? But I appreciate you guys so much. Again, please support the stream. We are getting school supplies, excuse me, not school supplies, art supplies, hair products, and fabric for our baby girl so she can make some extra money. She wants to do some hair, also wants to take care of her hair, of course, and then wants to do her sewing on the weekend. She's already going to be doing singing as well as football, and they don't have netball here in TZ, but we've also talked about swimming. So yeah, she's geared up and ready to go. But I want to hear from you guys. Any other questions that you have? Um, any cons that I could say about schooling in Tanzania? Because I really can't think of any. I mean, I put that, but I really can't think of any cons because I'd say that when it comes to comparing what I'm seeing happening, what I'm seeing my other friends deal with from an education perspective, what I'm seeing my family and friends deal with, I just don't see any con. Like I don't see any pros to education in the US. If y'all got some, let me know. But I don't see one. I literally don't see one. Um, because what we're seeing from an economic perspective of people that are doing very well, majority of them are internationally educated. The majority of people coming to the US that are making the top dollars of color are internationally educated talents coming from abroad, working in tech, working in medicine, um, coming from Africa, coming from Asia. And those that have founded companies, of course, that are doing well, of course, there are exceptions, right? But I just don't, yeah, I don't see the pro. And that's somebody who valued education, who did and went to some of the really best schools in the US, maybe not like super elite private, but and I say best public, right? Even universities, best public universities. Um, Today and now, it's just, I don't know that we're positioning our scholars for competitive positions with AI, with the globalization of the economy. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Are we positioning our scholars for global dominance? Ahmed is the certification from the schools recognized internationally. So this depends on the school. So currently, I'd say where she is now, not an international Cambridge school or international baccalaureate system. These systems are mostly Western systems, right? So if she were to go study in the UK or the US, then these systems are ideal for her. Based on her current grade, I don't think it's necessary. However, I am considering that in her later years, so that if she does decide and disagrees with me and says, hey, um, if she decides that she wants to go back to the US, I will give that option and opportunity to her as well, so that in her last year, she'll study international education. She'll be exceptionally ahead because of the current rigor of the structure school system that she's in now. And then she will receive international accreditation because she will do that part. So that's some similar if you, for folks that maybe did IB, and you did public school and then you did IB for your last 3 to 4 years to get AP, and you went to university with all of these credits, right? So you like went ham and went crazy in your high school career to basically be desirable by multiple colleges and universities. That's something similar of what I'm thinking we'll do with her. But thank you for asking. Now, when you're talking about internationally within other African countries, absolutely. But if you're looking at internationally from the Western space, not necessarily. It's actually not a no either, because, like I said, oftentimes students do way better than the international certifications, but they do have to re-certify their coursework sometimes, which can be a drag and can be a bum. But there are a lot of programs to be able to like mitigate that and work around that as well. Thank you so much for that question. Are Black girls being sexualized in America by high school age? What is the topic like? Oh, your Black girls are being sexualized. Yeah. So I'm not saying sex isn't a topic amongst teenagers, right? Because it is, it always has been, and it probably will continue to be. I think the way in which it is being overtly positioned in America is quite alarming. And as a parent, it should be very critically assessed and scrutinized. And I also know that homeschooling by Black families is on the rise as well. So a lot of people are taking their Black children out of schools in the US, actually at historic numbers, because of this, amongst many other things. So um, I'd say I have seen some similarities. Um, like in Western ways, that this is happening in some of the schools in SA, but not all, of course. I think the regulation of devices is really, really important in high schools. And some schools are not doing a great job at that. And they're trying to give children autonomy, trying to teach them integrity. But these devices are, they are literally, they're addictive. And for children, even more so. So my little one is literally sitting across from me and has been on her iPad for hours because I've been on my computer working for hours. So we'll hop off of that, and we had a full day outside today. But that responsibility around devices is something I think that is also exposing our children to that. Matter of fact, let me go and get her over here. Okay. Susie says your granddaughter saw the boarding school video, says she wants to attend boarding school now. Wow. Do they offer scholarships? Some do. What are you watching on iPad?
I'm not watching anything.
What are you doing?
Took a book.
Toca Boca. Still. Okay. Let me see. Come. Let me see what you built. Some do. It depends where you are. There are many in the US that do offer scholarships, especially because there is a need for diversity. A lot of the DEI programs got kicked out. So they essentially still have to do these, they need it, right? So they are offering scholarships, but they're also in environments where there'll be minorities, even more so. So, it depends on where you're considering. For me, it was really important that my girls be in communities of majority led um, societies where they are a part of that. And so there are some here, but I think we are coming from a place of privilege. So the ability to apply for scholarships is not really something that I feel responsible doing, because there are children that are in need of scholarships. I think more than Zhaeniya is, honestly. Thank you for asking that question, Susie. The luxury bucket, your USA higher education is still, I think you want to say, sought after. Your K through 12, there are definitely better options, and the higher education is sought after. But when you really break it down, these are opportunities for people to come to the country. So universities have quotas and requirements to have international students because they also want to send their students abroad. And these are easy ways for people to come into the country, documented. and then get roles and job opportunities. So sought after for the access, not necessarily the education. And I think this is something that I didn't learn until living abroad, right? So, if we really look deeply into higher education in the US, this is a struggling business that is being marketed to online to people all over the world because uh, university college system is becoming obsolete and the education is not as well. So Deborah says this is a bit broad. So maybe you want to be maybe a bit more specific, and you're obviously not in school. So your ability to maybe speak from a student perspective, I think, would be interesting to hear if you have one. Wonderful. So let's see. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, homeschooling is a it's a huge it's a huge thing because parents are concerned, right? They are concerned and they should be. They should be. And sending your child to school every day with a level of anxiety is no way to live, right? Like it's just not. Your nervous system deserves more. Your nervous system deserves better. Um, Hi, Colin. I gave you a shout out earlier, so you'll see it. You'll see it on the live. Thank you so much. Dallas D says you see the topic. Sadly, it happens in SA2, but it happens in different ways. Yes. Some schools in South Africa have great value. Some schools are trying to push the education system. They don't have the time to pay attention to these social issues. It's true. Um, if I move to Tanzania or Johannesburg, what is the best job or work opportunity I should seek? You shouldn't be seeking a job if you want to move to Tanzania or Johannesburg. You should be looking to build a business to create jobs. That's my position. That's my opinion. You may find someone else to say something differently, but in this community, we foster and support and celebrate entrepreneurship. We do not celebrate jobs because a job is just over broke. And what can you do for yourself and others when you're just over broke? We're here to serve. We're here to create opportunities. We're here to create the life we want, not live to create someone else's best life. Wonderful. Susie, you're so welcome. If you found value, please support the stream. Please support the stream. All of the information is below the PayPal, the Zelle. Please support the stream. Wonderful. I'm so happy your granddaughter loved the video. We really appreciate it. The luxury bucket list, absolutely, I agree. But hiring managers also look at these degrees and the institutions that were intended to get to those top roles. Again, we're talking about jobs, right? We're not talking about jobs. We're talking about creators. Um, so we'll just agree to disagree there because we don't support job workers. I mean, listen, everybody needs to make money, and that's required. Money is a tool for us to have options and to live a choice based life. So we encourage entrepreneurship because that is the only key to economic independence. You will not find economic independence with a job. You may be able to make money, you may be able to be rich, but you will always be at the mercy of someone else's mission, right? And even being an entrepreneur, you work with others, you serve others, but you're at your own, you're living and moving in your own purpose based on your own mission. And your ability to help others is unlimited and abundant when you are creating opportunities for others. So that's not what we're talking about today, but I'm so passionate about that. So when we talk about education, if education is going to equip us only for getting jobs and that's how we're looking at it and qualifying it to be a certain standard, then cool. Because I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about educational systems that build life skills that allow for our children to be globally competitive, to not just operate in corporations to earn dollars, but to operate in different countries to earn incomes in multiple currencies, have multiple residencies, have multiple, opportunities to engage communities, friends all over the world, right? That's the type of children that we're talking about raising on this in this community, right? Because that is what our ancestors always wanted for us, because that's what we used to operate. We were global people. We were nomadic people. We lived all over the world, and we made friends and did business with people all over the world. And that's where we had our power, in that, right? So our power was not just in being sedentary in one place for our entire life, thinking that we were to build and hoard things and big houses and cars and things. And that wasn't ever a form of wealth. It was the community. It's how we were impacting nations. It was how we were leading nations. It's how we were creating intercontinental, interglobal relationships, right? Kwame, thanks for this question. I've got tons of content on the channel for the different business opportunities that are in Tanzania. We also have the replays of the Travel Move Do Business virtual conference. So if you want to grab that, go ahead and grab that. Um, there's a link in the description. If not in the description, let me see. I think it's in the description for sure. So go ahead. You can grab the replays for the business opportunities, everything from agriculture, tourism, hospitality, real estate, construction, welding, engineering, right? Tons of different opportunities. Those replays, 2 days, 10 hours, over 12 experts talking about doing business, traveling and moving and migrating to Tanzania. So you definitely want to get those replays, as well as some of the free content that's on the channel as well. But those replays are invaluable. To have consultations with just one of the panelists is the price of the replay. So you'll find a ton of value in those replays. Connie, welcome so much to the community. Thank you for joining the membership. Wow, such an honor. Such an honor. Thank you so much, Connie. I appreciate you. Um, yeah, sure. I mean, of course. Of course. I mean, I hear you, but I know a ton of people making six-figure incomes with six-figure expenses. Um, and independently wealthy. Well, what does that mean to you, right? I think when we look at money, our conversation around money is very interesting as a community. Um, and answering to someone is like, are you answering to them or are you helping? Are you serving them? Your earnings offer independence. Well, that is fantastic. And I hope you are teaching others and serving others and teaching them how to also have that same level of independence through maybe a six-figure job. But for me, my six-figure job had me with six-figure expenses. Okay, now my six-figure income allows me to have a different level of lifestyle, but I don't have a job. So I think that's the plus for me, right? A job for me is just something that I learned a lot from, but I've also learned that the opportunity to live a choice based life comes from the economic independence of creating an income for myself and my family. So I appreciate you. Also, yes, really great conversation. So I appreciate your engagement, and your dialogue as well, your respectful dialogue. So thank you for sharing that. Welcome. I'm heading over on Instagram. Any other questions over there? I think we're going to end shortly because Instagram only gives me an hour and this light is hot, guys. I got the light on. Wonderful. Any other questions? any other questions? I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining the stream. Let me head to the let's see, let's see if I need to give any more shout outs. Shout out to Tiffany. Thank you so much for your support and your lovely messages. Um, dope. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate you. Yeah, this conversation is interesting. People are high uh emotions right now. I don't even want to touch on like the political environment in the current space. Listen, if you are not raising empathetic humans to be able to see wrong and point it out and call it out and revolt or retreat from a said system, we're we put ourselves in a position to be able to just accept what we've been given. And I think as an American, I can say that we've been doing a lot of this. Americans are just accepting horrific things happening globally, happening domestically. We just are sitting around tolerating nonsense and like not great things, and you know being able to discern right from wrong is no longer common sense anymore, and we need to do better as a people. And I just don't see how it's so possible um, to do that side of the world. But for those that are doing their best, I salute you. Those that are making a plan, I salute you. Those that are mustering up the confidence and the finance to be able to invest in such plans, I salute you. And those who want to stay right where you are, do what you got to do. Do what you have to do. But for those that are interested in learning more about what life could look like abroad, um, on the continent of Africa specifically, our community is here for you. I want to go ahead and let's reshare this video. Wonderful. So, for everybody that has an interest, you can head over to africainvestorsacademy.com. Um, we are hosting our investor summit and mastermind. This is for people that have a desire to move to the continent, not just do business here in Tanzania, but also potentially other parts of East Africa as well as South Africa. I live in both South Africa and, well, I live in South Africa, but I am creating a life where I will be spending half of the year in Tanzania and half of the year in South Africa as a strategic investor and as a parent. And I am doing so strategically based on my values, based on my professional, personal goals. As well as just my lifestyle. And so, if you have a desire to learn from others that are doing this, that have already done this, that are from the US and have done it, that are in the diaspora, that are Tanzanian, that are South African, that have done it as well, and have moved back home from the US, from the UK, from Europe, different parts of Europe, Canada. There is a community here for you. We're going to have a powerful 7 days on the beautiful island of Zanzibar, learning about the cultural climates, the legislation, the regulatory environment, incentives for investors and entrepreneurs and investors that want to do business here, as well as just experience beautiful real estate investment opportunities that are development, pre construction, post construction, even raw land deals and agriculture, tourism, um, the blue economy, technology. This summit is for you. Head to the website africainvestorsacademy.com and you will see. Let me see if I can pull that up. Um, there we go. But I need to edit that because that's not the right dates. um, yeah, you're going to want to join us for that. There we go. Nope. There we go. Struggle stream, guys. You know, we just do what we do. It's been a lot. It's been a lot going on this week. Those are the dates. That's the website. You can look at reviews from our last participants. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them. Um, yeah, I'll be sure to answer them for you. And I think that's it. The live ended over on Instagram. Oh, not yet. Can you or someone on the website that just mentioned, please? Can we get some help to relocate to South Africa? So head over to the website. For those of you guys that are on Instagram, let me drop it, but it's not putting it in the chat doesn't really help. So send me a DM if you would like to get on the wait list for the Travel Move Do Business virtual summit for South Africa. That's coming up as well. Send me a DM if you want to get on that website. I mean, that wait list. Benevolent Builder. Okay, perfect. You got it. Fantastic. Yeah, so go ahead, send me a DM if you want to get on the wait list for the Travel Move Do Business virtual conference for South Africa. That's coming up. And then you can currently put your deposit down for the summit, but it's actually coming up in 2 months. So you might as well pay it off. The full itinerary is there. The recap from last year is there. You're going to have different testimonials from guests from before that loved it. I want to see you there. I want to see you there. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat. Um, yeah, leave them in the chat. I don't know who these folks are. Feet Funkerson, I don't know them. So I haven't kept in contact with them because I don't know them. But thank you for asking, I guess. I think people think it's because you share content about something similar that you have like that we know each other. I do know some people, but I don't know those folks. So thank you for joining. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for everyone's support of the stream. Head to the description if you're on the replay. Let me know. Leave questions, share your feedback, share your questions. I'll be sure to answer as many as I possibly can. I'll update the description now so you can get access to the Investor Summit and Mastermind, as well as the replays for Travel Move to Business, as well as get on the wait list for the Travel Move to Business South Africa virtual conference. We've got so much going on, and I'm so honored to have you all in the community. So until the next video, guys, I'll see you soon.